In this video, we're going to dive into concept assignment number 4, focusing on the 5th grade module. You'll log into your Project Lead the Way account and click on Professional Development and scroll down to concept assignment number 4. Make sure to click on each of the links so that they'll be marked as complete. You're going to go through each one and click until they're all completed. I'll refer to this again later on in the video, but for submission form number 4, we will be submitting a different form. We will not be using submission form number 4. The reason we will not be using the concept assignment for submission form is because it is about 15 pages long and it has a lot of questions. Instead, we're going to dive into your module together for 5th grade, and a lot of the questions and information that are in this form we'll be going through together in our module. At this time, get into your Project Lead the Way courses and scroll down to 5th grade. Your 5th grade module is Earth's Water and Interconnected Systems. This first icon right here is your student module. You have the student module in Spanish, your teacher guide, and your teacher guide in Spanish. We're going to dive into the teacher guide first, and then we'll be viewing the student guide together. In your teacher guide, this will introduce your module. Remember that you have your library off to the left side for navigating quicker. Your module only takes 10 instructional hours. You decide when you teach this. You have the whole school year to teach the 10 instructional hours. You could break it into once a week for 45 minutes, twice a week for 45 minutes, whatever works best for you. We've gone through a lot of your teacher guide information and concept assignment number 1 and number 2. Here are your resources, your framework, your connections to standards. If you're wanting to know exactly which next generation science standards your module covers, you're going to click the 5th grade connection to standards. We'll go over that a little bit later. Your family letter is also located here as well. Talks about how to prepare for your module. I want to spend some time here under the professional development section. In the professional development section in your teacher guide, you have your launch pad. Your launch pad will take you back to all the information we explored together throughout this training. But this is where we're going to spend our time. Earth's Water and Interconnected Systems module specific PD resources. That's where you're going to go. It shows your Launchpad again. Just skip that. Okay, down here at the bottom. So here's some documents and videos that will guide you through your specific module and your activities. I'm going to skip the first document. You can view this on your own, but we are going to look at this video together.
Ah, fresh, clean water. It seems so simple to get water from the tap, but a lot of work went into this glass of water. Clean drinking water is not as simple to obtain nor as abundant as it seems. In fact, Did you know that many people around the world still don't have easy access to clean drinking water? I wonder whether something could be designed to help. After I enjoy this glass of water, I'll tell you all about the PLTW module, Earth's water, and interconnected systems. Conceptual understandings of the next generation science standards are developed throughout this module. With a focus on earth science, the learning experiences engage students in three-dimensional learning that develops science and engineering practices, cross-cutting concepts, and disciplinary core ideas. Each PLTW launch module begins with an engaging introduction story that presents our three friends, Angelina, Milo, and Susie, and a problem they've encountered. In this module, the friends go on a hike as part of a school field trip. During lunch, they want to drink water from a nearby stream, but their teacher, Ms. Morales, informs them that the water may be contaminated. Back in the classroom, the students are still thinking about the contamination in the stream. They wonder whether there is a way they could make the water clean enough to drink. Angelina suggests that they should think like engineers and use the design process to build a device that will purify water. Now that the problem has been presented through the story, students have a purpose for the learning experiences in the module. So, just what do your students need to learn to help them design a device to purify water? It's important to remember that in all PLTW launch modules, the APB instructional approach scaffolds student learning as they collaborate and communicate with each other while they work through the three activities, a project, and real world problem. Throughout the activities, students learn about the four major Earth systems: the atmosphere, biosphere, geosphere, and hydrosphere. Students explore how, along with gravity, the systems influence and interact with one another. Then, students construct a terrarium to model the water cycle and observe how it affects all of Earth's systems. Students continue their learning as they examine the location and quantity of water on Earth's surface. They research the amount of usable and accessible water on Earth and discuss how this affects communities and ecosystems. During the project, students investigate evaporation. Using the steps of the scientific inquiry process, they make predictions and observations to investigate factors that affect the process of evaporation. Now that students have developed knowledge and skills as they engage in activities and the project, they are ready to solve the open ended problem presented at the beginning of the module. Using the design process, students research, design, and build a device that purifies water. They also create a digital presentation to share their process and their design with others. Now that you understand what the students experience throughout the module, take time to review not only the course and the teacher guide, but also the additional professional development resources. These resources help you build your own capacity to facilitate this module. After completing this module, your students may marvel at the wonder of fresh, clean drinking water and the journey that water took to reach their glass. So, let's get ready to tap into the amazing world of Earth's water and interconnected systems.
When you open up new resources, remember that it's always just opened in another tab. You don't press back, you just go back to the tab that you were in prior to. In the video we just finished, they mentioned to check out the additional resources for your module. So in your teacher guide, if you scroll down past the professional development, it reviews the family connection, launch logs, the design process. Here we go. Additional instructional resources. You'll click here to access them. You'll notice that there's books that are aligned with topics addressed in this module. And not only are there books, but there's a historical connection, music and videos, and websites. After checking out the additional resources, you're going to look through your teacher guide Off to the left side, the introduction of the story, the big hike that they mentioned in your video, talks about that you need at least to allocate 20 minutes and how to guide your class through that. Activity 1, equipment, resources like your launch log, how to prepare, has the story link as well here. Earth systems, your procedures. I also wanted to point out every activity has conclusion questions for formative assessment. You'll go back to your courses to access your student module. When students log in to their Project Lead the Way account, this is what they will see. You will use Clever to log your students into Project Lead the Way. I have already arranged with Katie Galt for everybody in the district's Power School to be connected to Clever. Once you've completed your training, I'm able to go in and finalize that connection so students will see Project Lead the Way in their Clever account. As you go through the student module, you'll see the introduction story, activity 1, 2, and 3, the project, problem, and then there's also distance learning. Let's dive into activity number 1. In activity 1 in the student module, you'll guide your class through the procedures. For example, for step number 3, it will guide the students how to start their launch log for this module. As you go through, it will add activities for your students to add to their launch logs. And the first thing you will view together as a class is Earth systems. So walk through this activity talking about the different Earth systems. And one thing I noticed when we were in the additional resources, that NASA had a really cool website that explained the Earth systems as well. Go back to your additional instructional resources and you will find My NASA Data. And this has sections on the geosphere, the biosphere, and so on. So this is another cool resource they have listed for you to use. In the student modules, they also have vocabulary for your students. And you'll see the conclusion questions, how they're viewed as they were in your teacher guide and the family connection as well. In activity 2, you're going to dive into the water cycle. And your main activity is building a terrarium. It'll tell the kids what that is here.
A terrarium is a clear enclosure for keeping or raising plants or small animals indoors.
You'll have all the supplies to go through the procedure of building this. And it's located here, how to assemble a terrarium. And it's also in the library off to the left. There's your procedures. As you've guided your students through all the activities, you had some hands-on projects and a lot of research. You've been building up their background knowledge so that they can solve the problem. Clean enough to drink. In this problem, you will address this challenge by designing a device that makes dirty water or salt water drinkable, using your knowledge of the interactions between Earth systems, the power of the sun, gravity, and the water cycle, you'll work through the design process to build and test a device that produces clean water. So here is their culminating activity that you'll be guiding them through. Now that you have explored your teacher guide and your student module for Earth's water and interconnected systems, you're going to head back to your training, your concept assignment number 4. And let's talk about what you're going to complete for your last concept assignment. And you'll turn that in and be all done. All right, the last thing you need to do for concept assignment number 4 is make sure everything is marked as complete. And for submission form 4, you are not completing this. You're going to go back to our Canvas course and you're going to go to step 2. And in a Word document, a Google document, whatever you want to do, I just would like these 3 questions answered and uploaded as your submission form 4. And then you are finished with your training. All right, you are done with the 5th grade module.